What's going on, everybody? Another video out today. Okay, so with everything going on in the world, everything going on in this whole entertainment industry, everything with the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, we'll just say fiasco for lack of a better term, because that's exactly what it is. It's a fiasco. With everything going on with that, I have really learned something about the entertainment industry, and that is the fact that they do not care about domestic abuse, domestic violence. They don't care about this. They don't care about sexual assault. They don't care about people getting abused in any way, shape, or form. They just don't care about it. And okay, let me rephrase that. Let me backstep a second. They do care about it when it happens to a woman, but when it happens to a man, everyone is dead silent. You can hear crickets in Hollywood right now because nobody is saying anything. Nobody is speaking out against Amber Heard. Nobody is speaking out in support of Johnny Depp. I mean, back in 2016, there were loads of supporters for Johnny Depp. I mean, his ex-wife, his daughter voiced support, saying that their experience with Johnny Depp was nothing but love and gentlest. That's not even a word. He was gentle. He was nurturing and caring. And Paul Bettany, the Avengers Vision, he even said the same thing. That he's a very kind and gentle man. And he's known him throughout several relationships and never a word of abuse. But it's just the more I see it coming up, it's just Hollywood doesn't care about men that get abused. Everyone was so quick to judge Johnny Depp when Amber wrote that article that where she didn't name Johnny Depp, but was all too forthcoming with details that paints a picture around Johnny Depp to lead us to believe that it was Johnny Depp. And the more you sit and listen to these tapes, the more every time you listen to these tapes, you find something new. The tapes that were released last week, you could hear Amber Heard calling Johnny Depp a baby. She's calling him a baby because he's calling her out for the abuse that she puts out towards him. He even makes a comment about having to call his bodyguard one night, Tyler, to come get him out of there, to get him, away from her. And she's heard in the video saying, "Oh yeah, Tyler to the rescue," and he's like, "What did you say?" She's like, "Nothing. Go on. Just go on. Continue." But it's that type of, oh my goodness. I mean, like, how despicable of a person do you have to be to come out and accuse your ex-husband for abusing you, and then become an ambassador for women's rights at the American Civil Liberties Union and go out and speak against domestic violence when you are actually the one that is abusing your spouse? But yet you're accusing him of abuse and you're speaking out against abuse like, oh, it's such a bad thing. It should be stopped. There's no excuse for it. But then you just go and when you leave there, you do it yourself. Like, how despicable of a person do you have to be? Uh, then they talk about the painted on bruises. Okay, they say that Johnny Depp has accused Amber Heard of painting on bruises to get restraining orders, to get sympathy and all this. And people are asking, well, who would do that? Who would paint bruises on their body? Who would fake injuries? Who would lie about something like this? I'm just like, have you guys not seen Gone Girl? I mean, this is just the same thing, except this woman in the movie, she actually took a hammer and walloped herself in the eye. She's got a real bruise. She just didn't paint that shit on. She's actually got a bruise on her face. Swim fan. I mean, like, hello, does nobody watch movies and see this stuff? I mean, these are movies. Actresses and actors portray these people in movies. It's not too far-fetched that could be the same thing in person. I mean, not all the people that are playing abusive characters in the movies are abusive, but it's not too far outside the realm of possibility. I mean, there are some crazy women out there that do stuff like this. I've got personal experiences on this. So, I mean, there are literally hundreds of movies depicting, women that do this. And that's not even counting the actual stories that are out in the world that you can hear being told of pretty much the same thing that Amber is doing. Chances are there's someone else in the world that has done the same exact thing. I mean, people lie about being raped. People can lie about being abused. This is not new stuff. It's only new because it's a big name actress doing it. And men, when this happens, when we are abused by a female, when we are physically abused, it doesn't matter how much they weigh. They could be the tiniest little fragile creature. When they start, if they haul off and punch you or kick you or assault you in any way, shape, or form, there's absolutely nothing a man can do. There's nothing we can do for that. I mean, that's it. I mean, if we fight back, if we try to defend ourselves, if we push them away, or whatever we do, if we do something to protect ourselves, we are labeled as an abuser. And then just like right now with Johnny Depp, if we come out and we tell someone what's going on, we get laughed at. Amber Heard, in one of the videos, you can hear her say, "Do you know I'm 115 pounds? Well, not anymore, but I was 115 pounds, almost 115 pounds." Heard protests. Adopting a jeery tone, she says, "You're going to get up on the stand, Johnny, and say she started it. Really?" Basically saying, good luck getting anyone to believe you, because they're not going to believe any of that shit. Now, I guess going back and kind of taking everything at face value, it looks like Johnny Depp is somewhat vindicated. Okay, we've only heard 2 audio recordings, and apparently there's like 50 of them, give or take. I don't know the exact number, but there's a lot more of these audio tapes that are out there circulating around. But we've only heard 2 of them, and we're kind of drawing our own conclusions as to what is actually going on. But not that we really need to hear any more than what we've already heard. I mean, when it all boils down to it, this is a private matter between 2 private individuals. And we should not really be involved in it. But these 2 audio files were released, and we just take it at face value for what the evidence that we are provided. There is a video that is out there circulating where Johnny Depp, he's visibly drunk. He's yelling and hollering. He's got one of those little crazy cowboy hats on, and you can see him walking around this, it looks like a kitchen, slamming cabinets, breaking glasses. And it said that video is heavily doctored. And Amber Heard is there in the video, and she's not really acting the way that an abuse victim would be acting if they were in the presence of their abuser, acting the way that Johnny is acting. I mean, she seems to be, kind of calm, kind of level-headed, wondering what's going on, but she's not frightened, she's not scared, she's just trying to figure out, what is your problem, what's going on? With that being said, he has supposedly submitted like 87 videos showing times where Amber Heard was abusive towards him. 87 videos from CCTV, from, I think just from CCTV, maybe some other home footage, I'm not sure. But there's 87 videos showing where Amber Heard has been, showing when she has abused him. There's even one of their interior designers, and I think she did some little other odds and ends for Amber Heard, but Laura Devanere, anyway, she has even stated that she has never witnessed any abuse from Johnny Depp. She has never seen any bruises or sores, injuries. That's the word I was looking for. She's never seen any injuries on Amber Heard from these times where she was supposedly abused, and nor has she heard any talks of abuse from Amber, from Amber's staff, or Amber's family. And if Amber is being abused over this amount of time to the level that she is claiming that she was abused, then there would be some talks about it. I mean, you know how people are. People gossip. People talk, even if they don't have all the facts. They see a couple bruises on Amber, then they're just gonna come up with their own conclusions and they're gonna talk. But this lady, Laura said that she didn't see any of that. Um, and really, and not even that, but even she has a neighbor, okay? Amber Heard has even said that there is a time where Johnny Depp was abusing Amber Heard. Johnny Depp had a hold of her. Her neighbor rushed through the house, seen Johnny Depp have a hold on Amber Heard, immediately let go. Amber Heard ran off to the side of a couch, and the neighbor went between Amber and Johnny, put her hands up. It was like, "Stop, Johnny! Stop doing this mess!" And Johnny slapped him out of his face and started yelling at her. But whenever the cops interviewed the neighbor said that she never seen abuse, she never heard abuse, she never seen Johnny throw anything, smash anything, she never seen anything out, as an aggressive nature. But actually, to backtrack back to the interior designer, I'm kind of messing around, I'm sorry, but Laura, the interior designer, has even said that there's been a time where Amber Heard just blatantly just freaking verbally accosted one of the ladies on set that Laura knew, and then Laura had to kind of calm her down and keep her, get her composure, because she was just visibly shaken by this barrage of insults that was hurled at her by Amber. Laura even says that she was with Amber after one of these times where they had this big old explosive altercation, and apparently Laura, the interior designer, was with Amber like the next day or the next 2 days after that happened, and never seen any kind of evidence that she had some kind of physical altercation with Johnny Depp. It's just there was no evidence there. Never heard. She's a sociopath. She's just a pathological liar. She's one of these people that would argue with you about the sky being blue. Like, she would tell you it was red or purple or green or something. She would never tell you what color it actually is. She just argues about it. She lies about it. And this pathological liars do. They lie about breathing. It's as easy to them as breathing is. And there's stuff about her neighbor with that lie. There's stuff like that is documented for days that you can find. She ducks out of going to depositions that are supposed to be against Johnny Depp to get him for abusing her, but she fabricates these lies that are just so freaking stupid that she gets easily caught up in that she's lying, and then it's found out. It's like, oh, well, you just lied to get out of the deposition. How serious are you? How important does this really mean to you if you're just gonna duck out of a deposition to get your abuser behind bars, or whatever the case is? Because even if Johnny Depp did do this, I doubt he'd be going to jail or anything. But I at this point, I don't really think it. I really don't think he did it. I mean, it's even said that her bruises. There was one bruise that was purple one day and it was gone the next. There's another bruise that a doctor has even identified that was from the occipital port one day, and then moved underneath the cheekbone, which the doctors have stated that just doesn't happen. The bruise doesn't move. So this lady she is just 50 shades of crazy, and I think that the way that I see it, the only thing that Johnny Depp is really guilty of is putting a ring on this lady. You can't marry crazy. You just can't do it. I mean, no matter how much you may want to, no matter how hot she may be, you just can't do it, player. You gotta put it off to the side. Cut that finger off. Don't put a ring on it. Don't cut it off either. That was just being stupid. Don't do that, because I can't be held responsible. But it's also been documented that she's racked up a hellacious spending debt, and she's been seen snuggled up close to Mr. Old James Franco apparently the day after one of these brutal beatings supposedly occurred. And in the pictures that you can find online, She's all snuggled up, all nice and close, all lovey-dovey, and she's smiling and laughing. And it's just, if you just had like one of the worst nights of your life the night before, and you just had this brutal, breakdown, beat down with your old man, I don't think anyone's gonna be all laughing and lovey-dovey up the next to someone else. That's just not gonna happen. The only thing that really makes sense when you look at everything, when you look at the tapes, when you listen to the tapes, when you look at the police depositions, when you look at all the evidence, when you look at everything that you can find online regarding this incident, that Johnny Depp did not beat her. Now, is he 100% innocent? Who knows? I mean, there may be something on these other tapes that says he participated in something, but I don't see that happening. I mean, his wife and his ex-wife and his daughter have both spoken out in support of him, saying that he was nothing, like I say, he was nothing but loving, nothing but nurturing. And at first I was thinking, okay, we take that for a grain of salt, because if you're in good standings with your ex-wife, if you're in good standings with your daughter, they will say almost anything that they can to make sure that you stay out of trouble. But on the flip side of that coin, if you were an abusive asshole of a man that Amber Heard is accusing Johnny Depp to be, I don't see him having a very good relationship with his ex-wife or his daughter to the point where they would speak out in support for him. I just don't see that happening. So that's another thing that makes it, that kind of sends up a red flag in this whole thing as to, is Amber Heard really telling the truth? And it's not looking like she is on anything. So if Hollywood actually wants to tackle abuse and domestic violence and sexual assault and everything, all these allegations that are being thrown at people, they need to support it happening to the men as well as the women. Does it happen more to the women? Yes, sadly it does. And it's a horrible, it's a despicable thing for it to happen to anyone. But if we're going to lend support to women, as we should have the same equal amount of support to men when it happens to them, instead of making them out to be a mockery, without making them, the center of attention or the butt of all jokes. We need to treat each and every occurrence as the next. And we need to sit down. We need to have an actual investigation. We don't need to, these Twitter investigations don't help anyone. And it's just, if you're not going to sit down, if you're not going to collect all the evidence and present it to a court, present it to the police, and actually come up with a guilty or not guilty, because whether people like it or not, in this great country, the United States, you are innocent until proven guilty. And Johnny Depp, he was only alleged that he abused Amber Heard, and he lost his job. He lost fan support, which I guess is kind of the, something you have to deal with when you're in the public eye. If you wear the wrong T-shirt or something, you support the wrong band, you're gonna lose support. But I digress. If these tapes were released, like I said at the beginning of this video, if these tapes were released and it was the flip side where Johnny Depp was speaking this way towards Amber Heard, I guarantee you Jason Momoa would be supporting him, would be voicing out support. Her other castmates would be voicing support. But since it's Johnny Depp, crickets. You don't hear anything. Thankfully, there's at least a change.org petition that's being circulated around the internet calling for the removal of Amber Heard from Aquaman 2. If it happens, it's yet to be seen. To me, that's really DC's decision. I, for one, will not be going to see that film. I won't be doing it. That's just me personally. I won't be doing it. But if Hollywood does not do anything for this, then the next time someone voices abuse, whether it's a woman or a man, they need to shut their mouth. They don't need to say anything, because at this point, all it is becoming is just a hypocritical double standard that needs to be dealt with. Full stop, plain and simple. If a man is being abused, it's just as horrible as it is when a woman is abused, and they should be dealt with at the same way as the next. So I don't know. This is just my rant. I hope you enjoyed the video. Kind of got a little bit lengthy, longer than I intended on it to be. So if you liked the video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing down below. And until next time, guys, take care of each other.